What's up, guys? My name is Justin. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on iRacing for another week of Proto-GT in the Ford GT2 at Suzuka. I bought the track specifically for Proto-GT this week. I'd never raced here before on iRacing. I had raced here a lot on Forza way back in the day and then F1 back in the day as well. So I know the layout, not a concern, know where I'm going. This is actually my second attempt at this. I tried to run one earlier, and it did not end very well. I had a nice discussion with Nico going, and then I just made too many silly errors. It was a fun race, so I'll tell the same story I told in that one again, because again, I want to hopefully get a better video. I was also the only Ford in that one, so you're not missing anything action-wise. I'm still gonna hopefully try to get one with cars in it. We'll see if that makes a video or not, but. Regardless, I'm going to do my best here to get through this one with 0x, be a little bit better as far as my consistency, and hopefully put a little bit more pace together. Again, I didn't do a very good job of either of those things in the last one, so I want to be a little better. It wasn't terrible for my first race here, but just uncharacteristic mistakes from me. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you enjoy it. Make sure you drop that like, sub down below. Don't want you to miss any action from iRacing, Porsche Unleashed, Camaro content, track day content, anything else. Coming up tomorrow, we have ranking all of the road tracks. We had the oval tracks last week and ranking all the iRacing cars the week before that. Tomorrow is the road tracks, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Should be great. And trying to think of what else I may have missed. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so we'll get ready to grid up here. Only 6 cars, again, it's the only Ford, so I'm going to have a nice discussion about some stuff I've been thinking about existential crisis wise, but hopefully we can just have a nice cruise around here. Knock on wood again, this time I can actually get through here with 0x and learn a little bit. I wasn't that happy with the set the last one out. It wasn't bad by any means, but I felt like we were in a really good groove the first 2 weeks as far as my set building, and I wasn't quite as happy or comfortable with it in that last one, so hopefully we can do a little bit better. But anyways, we'll get gridded up here. We'll get ready to rock and roll. Again, only 6 cars, no real threat coming from anywhere, so we'll see how this goes, but I hope it's enjoyable nonetheless. I hope it's a fun race watch. And again, kind of going to be what it is. We're only going to be fighting ourselves. There's only one GT1, only 4 Hondas, so minimum split. And, you know, just going to be about hopefully trying to learn a little bit about this track, what it takes to be good here on iRacing, and hopefully we can get through this. If not, then, you know, we'll have to reevaluate and punt and figure out how we can be a little better for next time we come here. But regardless, we'll see how this one goes. So, yeah, I guess I will probably not do a whole lot of just general talking since it's just me in here. I really only have, again, the one kind of story or thing to talk about. But other than that, we'll probably just chill out, run some laps. Nice and calm, consistent. So this is one of those where, again, if you want to just kind of put this on the background or whatever, or watch it in spaces, you're probably not going to miss very much as far as, you know, good racing. But I am going to be learning the track a little bit, so that's a little bit something different than I usually have for content. And again, I'll tell the existential crisis story here in a couple laps once you get rolling. But pace car will be in shortly. See if we can figure out how to get through Spoon Corner and off of Spoon Corner, which I continually have done wrong in prep for this and in the last race. So without further ado, pace car should be coming in. Let's get to it. Hopefully this vet doesn't just immediately bin it in front of us. That would be nice. Left a big gap, 20 plus seconds, which I guess kind of makes sense, and this is prerogative considering we're not going anywhere, neither of us are, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But just be nice and easy, nice and smooth here. I did not make any setup adjustments, so I'm just going to try to get some more laps on this. Again, obviously from the last race, see if we can feel it out a little bit more, run a little bit better, be a little bit smoother, more consistent. That's my goal. And if nothing else, just learn a little bit more about kind of balance-wise what the car wants around here. Kind of the trouble spots that next time we come here, and whatever it is, whether it's this or something else, I can hopefully be a little bit better, a little bit more prepared, and not need quite such the learning curve, and I'll avoid some of the mistakes I've made here this week in learning this place and this car. So definitely not the most forgiving car in the world. It obviously can reach out and grab you and bite you pretty hard. But that's a good thing. It's not supposed to be an easy car to drive. It is B-class. It's basically IMSA from 10 or 15 years ago, probably 15 to 20 actually, but that's essentially what PGT is, and it's kind of why I love it. It's classic cars, you know, as classic as you get from 10 to 15 years ago-ish, but it's also, you know, great cars. They're more manually driven. They're not, you know, all electronic aids and everything. You do have to wrestle them a little bit. You do have to drive them. You do have to be precise with your shifts and with your handling and stuff. They're not just full aero beasts with full traction control and ABS and all this stuff that you see in cars today. So I kind of like that. It's definitely a difficult series, and that's why participation lacks a little bit. That and the fact that the cars are all aging quite fast now at this point, but it's a fun series. I've really enjoyed it. And I've really enjoyed getting to know this track on iRacing. Again, obviously, like I said, I know this track pretty well layout-wise, and that was a surprise or new to me. I drove this place a lot on Forza 4 way back in the day. I guess I can kind of tell that story briefly as well, those of you that don't know. I started racing, I got a Mad Catz Xbox wheel for like my 15th or 14th birthday, something in there. And that kind of went along with, I had a Xbox 360 that I'd gotten for my, must have been my 14th birthday, so 2011. And loved that. I played F1 2012 on that quite a lot, and eventually got Forza 4. Again, I've told that story in longer versions in previous videos, but got Forza 4, loved it, played through the career mode, had a lot of fun. Really kind of got me into more serious gaming as far as race cars go. I'd always played, you know, NASCAR games and stuff like that, and had a lot of fun with it, but you know, Forza 4 is the first time I'd kind of really learned road racing properly, and you know, more than just Watkins and Sonoma from the NASCAR games, basically. And really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed circuit racing, and especially the production car kind of part of it that Forza gave you. I enjoyed the race cars too, but maybe that's where my love of PCC started. But anyways, I raced on Forza 4 for about, I don't know, a year and a half, and actually joined a league called ZMAX Racing League on there, which is no longer existent. Most of the members are no longer active in the racing community, although a couple of them do pop up from time to time. There were some really big names as far as Xbox racing gaming in that league, and somehow I got invited to their group and was really bad, just literally awful. This is not a controller, this was not using the wheel, I just used the wheel for Formula 1. But anyways, I was really, really bad on Forza 4, but I did like this track. I did learn this track on Forza 4. And so I'm driving on Forza 4 in the ZMAX League, getting my ass kicked, but that's it had a weighting system based on results for the season. So you start off and like everybody started off with D class, like I don't know, 450 car rating or whatever the thing was that they used, and I had chosen the Scion FRS as my D class car, or C class, or whatever it was. And I fell in love with the Scion FRS, the first gen. Obviously, it was only one gen for the FRS. So learned that, loved that, had a lot of fun. Got my ass kicked. I was really, really bad, and I wanted to get better, so I started taking it more seriously, doing, you know, more practice, running more laps, understanding more about driving habits and clean racing, and you know, all that stuff that goes into making a good race car driver. And in the fall, must have been the fall of 2012, and then the spring of 2013, I learned about iRacing and watched the pros at the time, like Kenny Humpy, Tyler Hudson. Trying to think of what Ray Alfalo was a pro at that time that, you know, was up towards the front, and some other people, PJ Sturgis maybe, is that I'm thinking of. He had a brother, I can't think of his name, Jake Sturgis maybe. Anyways, all those guys, watched them in at the time, the Peak series, the iRacing Peak series was the brand name sponsored by Peak Antifreeze. Before it was the Coke series, and after it was just, you know, known as the Drivers World Championship Oval or whatever it was. Anyway, so I did that, and I found out about iRacing then, you know, and like begged my parents to get it for me, and they wouldn't do it, and wouldn't do it, and wouldn't do it, and they just wouldn't pull the plug and let me try a subscription, even though they had the 3-month option that was only like, I don't know, $30 or something back then. I don't remember exactly, of course. But it was a good deal in my mind. I had the racing wheel, so I figured what the hell, I should give it a go, right? And I finally remember I convinced my mom to loan me, again, I was, 15 and a half at this time. I convinced my mom to loan me the $30 so I could get iRacing and try it out. But I couldn't do it because my grandparents were visiting from Phoenix for like 2 weeks, and she would not let me do it then because she wanted me to spend time with my grandparents since I never got to see them, which is very understandable, of course. And so I had to wait, and on my half birthday, 2013, joined iRacing for the first time with the account that was under my mom's name that became Justin Krasniewski, and started my iRacing career. Ran my very first race using a borrowed PS3 controller that I had hooked up with USB to run at USA International, and ran really badly. The results are still somewhere. I don't know if you can look at those or not, but I've looked at them before with the results from that race. It was not pretty. I think I finished 6th though, actually, which isn't too bad. And the reason I had to use said PS3 controller is because my Xbox wheel, unbeknownst to me, but probably very duh in hindsight, needed an adapter to work from the Xbox controller, modem connection thing to a PC. So I needed to get a adapter of sorts that had a USB end to it, and the other end was basically an Xbox connection, wireless, of course. But thankfully this thing existed, because I don't know what I would have done otherwise. I would have felt like a complete idiot. But eventually got that figured out, and that was the start of whatever this has all become. And it's kind of hard to believe that it's been almost 12 years since then. Not quite 12 years, but it'll be 12 years in just a couple of months that I've been iRacing. And I've been on nonstop. I never took a break. I never took time off when things got busy or whatever. It's been pretty much my main hobby for 12 years now. Obviously, I have other stuff I do. Those of you that know me, I don't play basketball. I obviously was in band, went through high school, college, so I got that when I was like a sophomore in high school. And now I am just about 5 years removed from graduating college. So it's kind of crazy how that time flies like that. And see what I'm doing here? I'm tying this in. So anyways, existential crisis. We'll tie this all together now. I have no idea how long we are into this race, probably about a third of the distance, not quite. But I had a thought. I was at work last week, I think it was, and I mentioned this in the Spa video from Proto-GT last week that I ran with Steven and John Jr., I think was in there. And I touched on this and never got to finish it because Spencer left, and then I just forgot about it. I was sitting at work, and it was like Wednesday afternoon, and I was like, dang. I want to tell you, while I'm just cruising around here, my lap times are not going to be fast. My best laps this week in practice are like mid to high 159s, but I can do about a 2-minute flat without too much trouble. But I am just cruising around here, especially since I had all those incidents in my last attempt trying to do this. So I'm not cruising, but I am leaving some margin for error and just making sure we get through this thing for now. Again, knock on wood, hopefully we can get through this one. So don't be too alarmed that my pace is just awful. And again, still trying to gather some setup data and figure all this out. So anyways, I was sitting at work, and it was a very busy week. Work is extremely busy right now. I work in advertising, and it is just a crazy advertising thing going on right now. Obviously, the NFL draft in just a couple weeks is coming to Green Bay, so we are extremely busy, like exceptionally busy. And so a lot of my days are not just hectic, but unpredictable. I mean, stuff is just being thrown at me from all sorts of places. My job is kind of the middleman between the sales team and the operations crew for billboards. And so a lot of stuff that happens is dealing with one or both of those two sets of teams and bringing all the pieces together to make sure everything works out. So it's very stressful at times. It's very hectic when things are not going well, when things are not going right. It's very easy for things to get frustrating and stall and just not work. And it's kind of a pain sometimes to sort all these things out. But anyways, I'm sitting at my desk. I promise I'll finally get to the actual part of the story. I'm sitting at my desk, and I realized it was Wednesday afternoon, and it still felt like Monday afternoon. Like it had just been a fast week, and I think that that's partially because I wasn't bored in what I do. I do like my job, but I also was just very busy. Like time just flew by. I realized I was going to see my parents that night. I usually go see my parents and my brother on Wednesdays, just to spend some time with them, hang out, see their dog, of course, and just kind of get grounded, have a nice night where I don't really do anything as far as cleaning or chores or laundry. I don't really do anything in my house on Wednesdays, or once a week. It's not always Wednesdays, but once a week I just kind of go see them, hang out, have some talks, discussions about life, some plans for what we're going to do the next couple of months. Not have to cook. Thankfully, my mom makes great food, so appreciate her for that. But I realized I was going over there on that Wednesday night, and I was like, damn, like this week has flown by. It's crazy. Like it's absolutely flown by, and I am just kind of sitting here now, and we're already, in my mind, 75% of the way through the week. Fridays don't really count. Fridays are my day for catching up on random stuff that happens in the office, and then getting ahead if I can for Monday stuff. I don't really have any crazy responsibilities or tasks I designate to myself on Fridays. my job is pretty solo. I'm the only person in my department, so I don't really have stuff I have to collaborate with anybody on for the most part. And so Fridays are kind of my day to just get paperwork and other stuff done at work in the office, which is great. It works out pretty well that way. But so in my mind, Friday doesn't count as a day. So anyways, I'm like, it's like 75% of the way through this really tough work week. A lot's going on, a lot's happening. And I can't believe how fast time is flying by this week. And then I was like, well, hold on a second. It is now, at the time, like the end of March. Like, I can't believe that March is already coming to a close. Like, it feels like it's absolutely flown by. Like, March is here and gone. And I'm like, wow, well, that means that the year is like a quarter of the way over already. 2025. I mean, this past New Year's Eve was the first New Year's Eve in like 5 years that I wasn't sick or remember my family sick or something. Like literally since before COVID was the last time that we were all together and healthy. And I'm not a big partier. I'm not a drinker by any means, partially for my health, partially because it's just stupid. But I don't really ever go out, so I either do something with friends or do something with my family. And this was the first year that in like 5 years that we'd all been together and healthy and good to go. And I'm like, well, damn, that feels like yesterday. Like, it's pretty insane that, you know, March is already just about to be over and we're a quarter of the way through 2025. Like, that's unbelievable. I honestly can't really fathom that that's true. I'll pause that while I let this HPD go by so that we can focus on that and make sure we're done by an efficient manner. Go ahead, you're Alex. All right, get the lead Honda bias. Anyway, so I'll probably do the same for these other cars, just so you're aware in a couple minutes here when they come through. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, okay, 2025 is a quarter of the way through. I can't believe it. That's insane. And I was like, well, shit, it's 2025. Like, I am coming up on halfway through my 27th year of existing. Like, I'm, you know, only 8 months or whatever, 9 months from turning 28. And I can't believe that because it just feels like I was in college not that long ago. And I can still kind of feel like I did when I was in high school. Now, of course, you say, well, I have like an adult job now and, you know, time doesn't fly that crazy. And like I said, COVID and a lot of stuff has happened the last 5 years that have impacted my life. But like, I genuinely still feel in my early 20s and I'm, you know, only about 8 months now from being 28, which is crazy. And I know that that's a very small scope of this, but I was like, wow, my life is like flying by. And I know my parents and people have said forever that as you get older, time goes faster and faster and things just kind of become a blur. And I realized that when I'm sitting at my desk. This all happens, of course, just a couple of seconds of thinking. But I'm like, life is happening. Like, the world is happening. It obviously happened before me. It'll happen after I'm gone. But like, while I'm here, it's happening whether I like it or not. Like, I'm either on board and I'm part of it, or it's happening around me and I am trying to have time slow down. But it's not going to happen. Time doesn't slow down for anybody. Time doesn't wait for anyone. And so I was like, well, God, I need to like get my life together. Not that I'm not doing great and doing great things and enjoying my life. Unfortunately, second place just had the pit there in the Hondas. Not sure what that's about. It'd be a good ironing day for the 6 car, though, if we can finish this one out. Second out of 4 for sure. But I was like, you know, life is happening so fast. I'm curious how y'all feel, so let me know down below. Actually, let me know, first of all, back to the first part of this, how you started on iRacing, what it was like, your first kind of equipment, all stuff like that. We've discussed that before, but I'm always curious to hear about your first iRacing rigs and what got you onto iRacing. But then let me know, like, does it feel like time is flying by in your life and like stuff is always just happening so fast? And you know, some of you that have families and kids and stuff, does it feel like they're grown up fast? And you know, even if they're not that old, they could be 10, but you probably remember obviously when they were just a little baby and you know, the first time you saw them after they were born, like how crazy that feels in life. And I mean, there's nothing more true than that now. And again, maybe it's a maturity thing that I'm 27 and a bit and now finally realizing that life is like this and that I'm just an idiot. And it's always obviously been like this, but maybe it's true that as you get older, stuff happens and it feels like it goes faster. It feels like time flies and stuff happens to you and around you, and you don't really truly have a say in any of it. You're just kind of along for the ride. So thankfully this guy will catch us on a straight. Don't drive off track, dumbass, like I did in the last video, or last race, leaving Spoon Corner, which was absolutely a disaster and stupid on my part. So we just lifted out of that, let the Honda go through. A little more gap to the next couple guys. But so yeah, I know that was a very long story. It was like a 15-minute story or something, but long story short, to recap, I felt like the last couple of weeks that life is just happening, and I know that I had a good talk with Nico about this during that last race, so I'm kind of retelling the same story again that I talked with him about in a shorter form. I've never felt like I'm one to compare myself to others. I definitely have goals that I've talked about before, somewhat with life goals, things I want to do, things I want to see. Looks like this guy's spun off. And I've definitely got things that I want to experience in life, and I want to see, and I want to do, and I want to be a part of. And that's all well and good. Don't really trust him, not because he's bad, just because he's a 6 car, and there's no reason for us to have any incidents. I don't really ever feel like I compare myself to anyone. Again, I've talked before plenty because, you know, cars are one of the focal points of my life. That I have dream cars. I have things I want to own or drive or see or whatever. You know, I want to be able to go tour the world and see all the cool, classic, and crazy cars I've ever want to see. You know, I want to see a McLaren F1 someday, F40, F50, etc. But like as far as life goes, I also have things I want to do. There are certain places I want to travel, certain things I want to experience, and like I know I don't have forever. None of us know how much time we have on this earth, and we're blessed with literally every single day. But like stuff happens to us, and I am a firm believer that God makes no mistakes when, you know, formulating our life and how things go. But at the same time, it's like shit. Like we don't have all day. I know some people feel like they wait too long to travel or to see the world or to, you know, do whatever. And I'm always like, you gotta act now, and I've never felt like I haven't been able to or shouldn't do that. I've always been one to like, you know, go ahead, ask the guy out, ask the girl out, whatever, you know, your preference is, or, you know, take the trip, or, you know, apply for the job, or stick your nose out there, or start a new hobby, or whatever the case may be. Like, tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, so, you know, don't wait, essentially. But I mean, I've never been one to compare myself to what others are doing. But Nico made a good point. It's like, even if you're not comparing yourself, you're seeing the amazing things other people are doing, and even if you're also doing amazing things in your own life, it does make you question if the things you're doing are like enough. Like not simply that you're, you know, taking all the trips you need to take and maximizing experiences and all this stuff. Go ahead, you're Tyler. But like also that, you know, you're doing the things that you should be doing with your life. Are you saving enough money? Are you investing enough for your future? Like, are you going to be able to support yourself and sustain your life for the next 50, 60, 70 years? Again, we don't know how long we're going to live, both shortness and longness. We could all live to be 100 for all we know. Another guy off ahead. A lot of mistakes from the Hondas so far, but thankfully he saved that one. Drug a lot of gravel on track, but not too slippery through there. Hopefully Taylor catches us up to 130R, there or thereabouts. Much smoother race thus far, which I'm very thankful for. I'd love to finish it out like this. And I'm glad that we've had this nice long talk. This has been great. But anyways, like, I'm not comparing myself to the things other people are doing, but I definitely do wonder if the things I'm doing are enough, if I'm maximizing opportunity. You know, maybe I should just say, screw it. I mean, I've been house shopping for not a long time, but a little while now, and I'm like, screw it. Maybe I just need to, like, pick something and buy it and just live there. And don't get me wrong, that's a terrible idea. I'm not going to do that. You know, house buying out is obviously a huge purchase. I'm going to make sure I do my research, buy the right house, be smart with my purchase, be smart with my money, my financials, not put my future in jeopardy or anything like that. But at the same time, like, you know, should I be doing other things? Should I just save up one of these years, take all my vacation time in one go, and take a trip to Europe? You know, see the Ferrari Museum, see the Mercedes Museum, see the Bugatti Museum, you know, see the Porsche Museum, whatever the case may be. All these things that are on my bucket list of wanting to see. I mean, should I just do it? Like, again, I think I have a very real sense of this, because although thankfully, knock on wood again, pending some change in my health or whatever, as a chronic illness patient with cystic fibrosis, I'm not in some grave danger of passing away anytime imminently from my CF, like from health-wise. Obviously, anything can happen to anyone, and again, life is not guaranteed tomorrow. But I definitely have some serious thoughts and wonder if I'm doing enough to like justify this blessed life I have. And I've talked with my brother about this a little bit. My brother's struggled for a little while now about feeling like he fits in, finding his place, finding out what he wants to do, finding his thing, you know, finding the thing that makes him want to get up in the morning. Mine has always been, well, I love business, I love marketing, I love what I do for a career, and I love race cars. And I mean, I love my family too, don't get me wrong, I love spending time with my family, but like the things that I do, whether or not my family is a part of them, are business, marketing, and race cars, and, you know, going to racetracks and driving my car and all these things. Like, those are the two things that get me up in the morning. Everything else, screw it, honestly. Everyone else can, you know, go away. I have a very, very close select group of friends that I can count on my two hands, and that's all I need. That's everybody. Everybody else can kind of go away. Obviously, my racing friends are my racing friends, but I've met all of them later in life, you know, the last 10 years or whatever, and, you know, not all of them are still here that were here 5 or 10 years ago either, so I understand that those people will come and go. But I've talked with my brother about this, and I know he's struggled a lot with where he wants to be, who he wants to be, and how he's going to impact the world in his own way. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to impact the world by yourself. The world is too big, unfortunately, too complex. Nothing you do personally by yourself will make a difference. You might become part of something that makes a huge difference. You know, you might be an investor or a partner or something in the next Google or the next Apple or whatever, or you might write a book with someone, but it's very unlikely something you do by yourself that nobody else knows about is going to change the world. So, but I also told him, you know, you don't have to change the world. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to shoot for the moon. You just have to maximize what you got. You got to pick your thing that's your impact and be the best in the world at it. You got to be the best you possibly can at whatever your thing is. If it's, again, music, or if it's, you know, mental health is something that he's really passionate about, that I am so proud of him for, because it's not something that I know enough about or am brave enough about to endeavor into and learn about and work with. But he's really passionate about that and helping mental health and uncovering sort of the secrets of why people feel the way they do and why they think the way they do and all these things. And I'm so incredibly proud of him. But I mean, I'd be proud of him regardless. I'd be proud of him no matter what he does or thinks or what his career becomes or his life becomes. I'm always going to be proud of him. He's my little brother. But again, we've had these talks like, what is life supposed to be? And I know that there's no set answer for that for anybody. Like, you could make the argument that even the people that, quote, have it made, I mean, my classic example is always Justin Verlander. The guy is like a gazillionaire. He lives this amazing life. He's won MVPs. He's thrown no-hitters. He's won World Series. He's won Cy Youngs. And he's married to Kate Upton, and he's playing a game he loves as his career. And it's a baseball game. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He played baseball for a living. He's married to Kate Upton. Like, what the heck else could you want in life? He can have anything he wants at his fingertips. Does he have the perfect life? Does he have it made? Who knows? I mean, it's very reasonable to think that some days he gets up in the morning and wonders, you know, things about himself. You know, I'm making this up, obviously, so apologies to Mr. Verlander. I'm putting words in your mouth or in your life here, but maybe he wakes up in the morning and, like, isn't sure if he wants to have children someday, for example, or isn't sure, hey, there's a sub 201 finally, geez, Justin, or isn't sure if, for example, he wants to keep playing in the MLB, or if he wants to retire, and if so, does he want to become a manager or a coach or a broadcaster or an analyst or a scout, or, you know, coach a high school team, for example. Or, you know, he can do anything at this point because he doesn't need the money, and he can either choose to impact baseball in a lot of different ways, or he can just disappear off to wherever he likes to spend time, whether it be in the woods or on the beach or whatever, and never, like, officially be seen in public ever again. And that's perfectly understandable. But, you know, is he perfectly happy with his life and he has everything figured out? No. And another good quote I like is that, you know, we judge our parents and grandparents and friends and, you know, all these things, and then people that have kids judge their kids, whatever, about mistakes they make and the choices they make and how they impact not just themselves but those around them. And I read that, you know, that's all true, and it's valid to be upset when things don't go well, but, like, you have to give everybody grace the way you'd give yourself grace. Like, you're living life for the first time, but so is everybody else. My parents, everything that happens to them that has to do with my brother and I, they're experiencing it for the first time. They've never been parents of a 27-year-old and a 22-year-old before. Like, this is new to them too. And so I mean, this is a really long-winded thing. We're covering a lot of topics, so I greatly apologize. But I love these therapy drives, man. They just allow us to have nice talks and get really deep and talk about life sometimes. And so I love that, and I love that I had the background with iRacing to kind of make it a good background track that you can, again, put on while you're doing something else or reading a book or whatever, and still get both the racing content if you want the racing content and the life content if you like the life content. So I hope this is okay. I hope it's enjoyable regardless. But I mean, it's like, you know, again, just to kind of tie this all up before we get to the last couple laps here, life happens, and none of us are going to do it perfectly. None of us are going to do it without mistakes, and none of us are going to get a chance to do it over again. So, in my opinion, yeah, shit happens. Sometimes life sucks. Sometimes things just go wrong. But you got to make the best of it. You got to make the most of it. You got to bring your A game every single day. Some days you're going to bring your A game and still get screwed. It's as simple as that. Some days you're going to bring your A game every day for weeks and weeks and months and maybe even years and still get screwed. Oh, you're here again, Alex. And that's just, I mean, that's just life. That happens to all of us. I don't think anybody, even the people that we deem successful in having this perfect life and having everything that goes their way, I don't think that their life is actually perfect or, you know, without flaw or without mistakes or anything like that. And so, you know, yes, reach for the stars, reach for the sky. Always strive to be the best version of yourself you can be. Maximize every day, but give yourself some grace, people. I mean, time is going to go by regardless of whether you like it or not, and it's going to go with or without you. So you can choose to sit here and wait for something amazing to happen to yourself, or you can go chase it and make it happen. And again, that's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. But looking back in 30 years, would you rather say, yeah, nothing ever happened to me and I didn't really care and I never tried? Or would you rather say, I gave it my all, and if stuff didn't turn out the way it was that you wanted it, maybe it was just supposed to not work out, for who knows why? I mean, the world and God is a mysterious thing. Nobody knows how this world works around us or why the things happen that they do. I mean, we deal with loss, we deal with grief, we deal with sadness, depression. There are so many things that go into every life on this earth, 8 billion of us. And, you know, so yeah, make the most of it, make the most of your life, make the most of your days, the people around you, and, you know, just don't ever settle for one, but make sure that whatever you're doing, as we come to the white flag here, which is great. I talked this entire race. Way to go, Justin. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, you do it as best you can. And if you do that, you can look back and be happy with it. And the life that you live, the life that moves around you, it's moving fast. But just make sure that, you know, you take every opportunity you can so that when it moves fast, you're moving right along with it. So, again, leave me some comments down below. This was a huge, like, 30-minute ramble, so apologies for that. Again, maybe it's one that you just put on the background and sit and listen to, and it's a deep dive talk and kind of a TED talk with a race involved. But, you know, I've enjoyed those that I've done over the years in that regard. I've enjoyed the ones I've done in Bluey. I've enjoyed the iRacing ones I've done in the Clio and the Kia and now the Ford GT2. So, yeah, I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you liked it. We'll finish this lap out here, but leave me some comments. Let me know how you feel about all the variety of topics that I covered, the things I touched on, from iRacing to life to all this other stuff. So we'll finish this one out. I'll not talk this last half a lap so I can catch my breath and you can hear this beautiful car for a couple corners, and then we'll reconvene after the finish. Great race, everyone. I made it through this one with 0x, which I am over the moon about. Obviously, we're not going to get any ironing out of this. Obviously, we're not going to get any safety rating out of this because thankfully we didn't lose any in that last one where I drove off the track a couple times by myself. Yes, too bad it wasn't for a million. No kidding. That would make my life better, genuinely. But anyways, again, I know I rambled for most of this about a variety of things, partly related to racing, partly related to life. But you know, it's kind of my platform, so I do enjoy getting to talk about some of that stuff. Again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel. If you've gone through hard times, what made you bounce back out of it, and what brings you joy? What makes you happy? And then again, anything else I touched on. There's so many things I don't even remember all of them. Leave me 12 comments telling me all about everything I touched on. So I love to go through and read all the comments. So thank you all so much. All your love and support is amazing. Each and every one of you, you all are just wonderful. I'm so thankful that I have this great platform, not just to share, racing and stories with you, but I mean, to just connect it with such a great community. I mean, we all love this thing together, and so I'm so blessed that I get to do this and have so many people support me in it. So we'll pull off here. We'll go check the results. Again, not that they really matter because we're not getting any iRating or anything out of this, but we will go take a look at the results, and I will try to grab a similar thumbnail to the one I got earlier because I really like the camera angle we used for that actually. Still waiting. I don't know why sometimes it takes so long to generate results and sometimes just so quickly. I don't exactly understand why that works because like the race is over. It's been over for 45 seconds now. Results should be processing, and because there are only 6 cars, it should be pretty simple. I don't know if it's more complicated because it's multi-class or what, but it is what it is. I just want to essentially see what my stats were, see if I got any additional points. I think I got 82 points from the other one. Obviously, my rating didn't change between those two, so I'm curious if I got the same points or different points or what. But 82. So if you're 4,046 rating and you drive by yourself, you get 82 points in this series, I guess. So whatever that means. Again, wasn't fast. Our lap times weren't great. Thank goodness we got through it with 0x, which it looks like most of the other field wasn't able to, unfortunately. But it was still a fun race. I still enjoyed it. I'm still learning Suzuka, but it's growing on me, so it was still fun. I'm glad that I got a good race in. And yeah, so we'll take that. And we'll be on the what's next. Again, tomorrow is going to be the video. I did recording and ranking all of the iRacing road courses. We did the ovals last week, all the iRacing cars the week before that. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would rank your tracks at, and let me know if you enjoy it. And again, let me know what you think about this video and all the stuff we deep dived into. So I appreciate you all so much. Again, all your love and support is so amazing, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. And we'll be on to what's next. So till next time, as always, bye.